turning chaos to gold. Careers, chaos, and coaching. Keep it real with laughs and advice to help you sail the deep. Safe and gold, helping you succeed. That's how we roll.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to another Careers, Chaos, and Coaching. I did not share that new intro with Melissa because I was up late last night playing with a new app. And so I'm curious about your initial thoughts, Melissa, about that intro.
Okay, honestly, I wasn't sure what to expect. I got a 2-second warning, and it wasn't the chaos I thought it would be. It's a good chaos. I think it's very bubbly, like it's
I
very
know.
exciting.
I had some that were too melancholy. I had some that were way too like heavy metal rock. And it was like, okay, and then this was a little bit too pop. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
Well, listen, let's ask the people, right? Hey guys, you're here. Welcome, number one. And what'd you think of the intro song? Because I'll be honest, I love the creativity that all of these new apps and tech are bringing. And in a world of chaos, Felipe, my favorite thing to do is get creative, right? Whether it's Canva or crayons or markers or songs, music, writing, books, whatever we're doing, creativity for the win for sure. So good job.
And I gotta say, this is how we all learn how to upskill. And we're going to talk about upskilling later on in the show. But the reality is, did I ever think that I would ever try to write lyrics or music for anything in my life? Absolutely not. But the fact that I'm playing around with this app, I'm learning the skill, guess what? This might actually come into play and benefit me in my own personal business, in my day-to-day full-time job, for my family. Who knows? So upskilling can have multiple benefits, y'all. So don't be afraid.
I just tell you real quick, Felipe, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I got to tell you, when you said this might help you in your job, I kind of had the office moment, and I was like, don't make musicals for your HR presentation. Do not do it.
Too late. Not as far as like lyrics and music, but I will put like year-end recap videos together with like music in the background, and we'll play it at like our holiday event for people. So yeah, no, I already do that. Too late.
Oh, guys, can you just imagine? Can you see it? Like Felipe just up there with the arms wide spread, just doing these dances on stage, talking about your benefits and packages. It would be great. Anyway.
Oh no, I wouldn't do quite the HR dances, but I would get the executive committee, and we did full on skits. Oh, we wrote the words to "We Are the World" and House in the Hotel Industry. We did a Grease skit. We've done full on like absolute, not quite musicals, but we've done those. We've done funny comedy skits. We did murder mysteries. So
I say I need proof where it never happened.
I will show you. When you come to DC, I will show you proof, because I will not be posting that proof on the internet. At least not now. Maybe when I get older, I don't care.
I tried so hard. I wanted you to see it, because I've seen pictures of Felipe. You're not allowed to see it, and I wish you would let me. But I was also trying to upskill with my AI skill sets. And I got to tell you, he would make a good romance novel cover. He would just let me.
Oh my God. All right. So anyways.
Anyway, tell people who you are. They might not even know who we are, and they think we're weird.
And the dogs are in the
dog
house.
Whisperer. His family's visiting. They must be. It must be family visit time.
So listen, first of all, I want to welcome everyone. Welcome to Adrian and Lowe's. Great to see you from the Netherlands. Kenny, always appreciate your support and always appreciate how you invite people to the rooms. Crystal, it's great to see you as always. Jackie Hallberg, another partner in crime with Melissa. They're doing a room around emotional women. And then welcome to Lisa Fevick, another amazing person who does amazing work around women's health. As I told you, my wife's been starting to listen to some of your shows, so I look forward to her learning from you. So do me a favor, invite your friends, repost the room, let people know, especially if they are in any kind of relation to the federal government right now, whether they're contractors, nonprofits, whether they're actual federal workers that have lost their jobs or are unsure if they're going to lose their jobs. Are they in the probationary period right now? They're saying that people in their probationary period are going to lose their jobs. So if you know of anyone that might need it, or someone that just needs to change their career because what they're currently doing today, they're not sure if it'll be around tomorrow, tag them, invite them, repost the room to your network so they know about it, because our goal today is to help people out. I haven't mentioned this to Melissa yet, but I was thinking that maybe you and I do a special Zoom room for just people that need help one day, just to really give them some dedicated help, because there's so much going on right now. So I haven't talked to you about your...
I literally was in my brain. I was going to tell you before we went live, like, hey, maybe we could do some free sessions or something for these people. And so, yes, 100%.
All right, good.
Yeah.
There, right? And this would not be a LinkedIn free. This would be like a private Zoom free session for people, so that you can really get engaged, ask personalized questions, and in a safe area as well. So I hope that all of you all please share that with people, because we do want to open that up to people and help them during this difficult time. Marcia Lee, our wonderful friend, great to see you there as always. Margaret Martinez, gracias por venir. David Pushkin, the LinkedIn radio voice, always great to see you. So yeah, and you're right, Jackie, it is a very scary world for the nonprofits. I'm actually reading the comments. I'll probably be showing some of the comments here. So yeah, so Melissa and I are going to talk about this today. This is going to be an important topic. We want to make sure that we provide some valuable insights here. I want to share some tips that I've shared recently. I've had to do, I've had the pleasure of doing a number of workshops lately. In the past 2 weeks, I've done 4 workshops. The last one was last Thursday for 200 people that are going through a lot of this uncertainty. It's one of those things where you sometimes don't realize how hard sometimes people have it, especially when they've been working in a certain field all their life, and then they've studied it. They've gotten maybe a bachelor's. They've got some got masters and PhDs in it, and now they're being told, that work doesn't matter anymore. We're not going to do it anymore. It creates a lot of, you question your confidence, you question your value, but all these skills, so many of them are transferable. So many of them would be absolutely welcomed and valued in so many other organizations and companies. So that's what we want to talk about today. But before we do that, let's do some introductions, Houston. What do you think?
Yeah, let's get it done.
All right. Well, ladies first, my friend. After you.
Thanks. Listen, guys, first of all, let me just say this is important to me. What started in a career as sales and marketing and telemarketing, I was always the lead salesperson. I lived through 2008. And 2008 was a game changer for me. I had lost my job. I was in a town that had 50% of the businesses closed. It was comparable to COVID. I ended up going into my first entrepreneurial, I can't say that word today, role, where I was my own boss, and I was an independent cab operator. And so I was working 12-hour days, driving people all over the town before Uber was a thing. And I got to tell you, I was robbed. I was in a car accident. I had a lot of turmoil. And so I had a lot of things I had to overcome quickly. And that feels a lot like today. The reason I was able to move through it is I was open-minded. I did find the lowest unemployment rate in the nation. I became a certified staffing professional there. That's where I'm going with this, is in that time of chaos, I found a way. I became my own boss because nobody was hiring. From there, I used that to go to the next thing, to take those skills that I had harnessed as a solopreneur, doing my own driving, to drive somebody else's growth in their business. And that helped me put people in roles. And so that's where my qualifications and mindset and everything I'm going to use today to help you guys comes from. But I'm also a mindset coach. I'm also a business consultant. I help businesses grow. Like I said, I've done it forever. But I realize leaders get in their own way sometimes. They know how to grow a business or they wouldn't be in charge. They just don't always have the tools. They get downhearted. They get overwhelmed. They get confused. There's so many things shifting. For every one federal employee, I personally believe, it's not based on fact, but just kind of the ripple I've noticed, I think like 3 to 5 private individuals lose their jobs too. Think FedEx, copy machine companies, all of that. So we understand the ripple here. We have the skills to make this happen. But if you want to learn more about me in particular, you can go to documentthenAct.com. Learn about me, figure out how to buy the books. Felipe and I did co-author a book with some of our friends this last year, and so would love for you to check that out too. My author's page is on Amazon, so if you want to learn more about me, that's it. and follow, right? We have YouTube that Felipe is hosting and we're streaming to right now. Go follow it for the Careers, Chaos, and Coaching. And then I also have my Document Then Act YouTube, and I have a playlist for this show there, but would love for you to follow. Felipe?
Oh, thank you. And I'm sorry, I was trying to multitask too much. There is Melissa's website there for Document and Act. So go ahead and check that out if you have not checked that out yet. I did put the link in the chat to join us on stage. So if you want to do that. But for those of you who have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Felipe Cofino. I'm an HR executive, a career coach, LinkedIn enthusiast, recently named LinkedIn Top Voice. And for me, I am very passionate about really just creating a workplace that creates a sense of belonging, where people can do their best work and grow and learn. And it's a fair environment where people have equal opportunity to grow in their career. And career coaching has been something that I've continued to do for the last 25 years. And I will do that until I retire, because it's something that I'm passionate about. I enjoy doing, I'm good at it. And it's something that I feel like is always going to be a need out there. So for me, I found one of my passions, which was helping people find the right job in the right company with the right culture. So if that resonates with you, reach out to me. I do have my Cofino Consulting page. For more information about that, obviously, feel free to reach out to me there, because it is something I do help with workplaces, HR services, LinkedIn training, and recruiting. But I'm also trying to grow our YouTube page, because the YouTube page obviously is something that now with all these live streams, we are actually able to record them, save them. People can go back and reference them. And it's great that we save them here on LinkedIn. Sometimes you got to scroll back a lot to find them. But on the YouTube page, if you do want to give me a follow and subscribe there, I'm trying to grow it. It's still got a small following right now, but it's growing every week. And we do have the Careers, Chaos, and Coaching playlist. So you can check out some of the past episodes where we've shared some great insights. We've had some great people join us on stage. They've asked some great questions. They've also shared some great insights as well. So check it out. I appreciate anyone that does subscribe and give me a follow, because it is something that I'm trying to grow. And as always, follow Melissa's as well, because she has her YouTube page, and she's doing the same thing. And with her Coffee Chats with Melissa, if you want to check those out, they're there as well. So YouTube's just a great place to house a lot of the work that you do. So a little tip for all of you out there: if you are creating content and you are doing any kind of live streaming, make sure you stream it to your YouTube channel and create one there. It's just a great place to house it. And again, you never know. LinkedIn's platform, it could disappear tomorrow. It really could. We never know. So don't put all your eggs in just one basket. All right. With that being said, let's dive into this topic here, because I really want to make sure that people have a chance to ask questions and learn. And one of the things we want to talk about is about profile reviews. Now, I do have some people in the green room already, and so I do want to bring them up. But so for those of you in the green room, hang in there. Don't go far. We are doing audio only, so don't feel obligated to turn on your camera. If you want to turn on your camera, you can, but don't feel. We're really trying to keep it audio only so people feel safe and comfortable. But before we bring the people on stage, Melissa, one of the things we talk about is profile reviews. And, like I said, I've just done like 4 sessions in the last 2 weeks. And I'm going to share some tips, a document that we'll put in the comments later that has some of the great tips for you all to remember. But I do also want to just highlight some high things that I think is important for people to remember when they're looking at their profile. Because if you look at Melissa or my profile, you'll see a fully optimized profile. And what that means simply is that each section of your profile is complete, up to date, and relevant. From having a banner page that you can create on Canva, to having a profile picture that's clear and you can see your eyes and your smile, to having a headline that you have with keywords that you fill out your 220 characters in there, to having an about section that tells your story and has keywords repeated in there, and share a little bit of your personal interests so people can relate to you as a human being. Making sure that if you do create content, whether it's images or videos or polls, that you use your featured section to highlight those. That's a billboard for any content you create, if you choose to create content. But if you don't, at least comment regularly. And then your experience section, it should mirror your resume, because you want to make sure that there aren't discrepancies, and people will question, well, wait, you said you were here for 2 years on your resume, but only 1 year on LinkedIn. Which one is it? So you want to make sure. And then obviously showcase your projects, your skills, your volunteering, all those things. Every section of your LinkedIn profile is a chance for you to highlight. So I didn't want to go through an over too much detail, because I want to let people ask questions. But Houston, what few things do you want to highlight real quick about job seekers right now that are looking for opportunities, as I bring people up on stage?
Yeah. So, I think being up to date is so vital, guys. When recruiters are looking at their tools, whatever their platform is of choice, okay, they want to look at the most recent activity, because you're most likely to answer the phone. You've recently been looking. If you've been looking for a few months, you may have already landed a job. And so making sure it's up to date everywhere is the first tip, not just LinkedIn, right? But for LinkedIn, you can go and make it as simple as flipping your profile photo the opposite direction. Just do that edit. Maybe it's perfected already, but you need to make it fresh. Zoom in a little bit on your banner, zoom out a little bit, change this, the way it's centered. Small changes can help a ton. Also, in your headline, I just updated my headline this week. I did it because I was sick of looking at the same one. Now, I'm always going to be the cultivator of dreams first, but that is very, unique to me. And I don't recommend it if you're looking for a job, because that headline banner space is really like a summary section of your skills or your industry or your job titles that you could be searched by. Think of it as an SEO capability, right? So if you want to do business administration, that should be there. If you want to do operations or management, it should be there. Being the cultivator of dreams, I am not going to hit on recruiters' radar because it's made up by me. I sat down one day and decided that was my title, right? And so make sure you're using terms that recruiters would want to use to find you, right? Try to reverse search that process, or reverse engineer the process of the search. Next thing I would say, references, recommendations. If you are being laid off in mass, or if you and your friends all know you're under terrible leadership and you're looking, go recommend each other. Go put some likes or comments on their skill sets in that section that you've defined for people to find you, the same way as the SEO up top, right? That banner. And so if you don't have your top skills down there, go look at it. Go make sure your top skills are still the same skills you want to highlight from when you had, like when I started LinkedIn, I was recruiting and I was putting filing as a skill set, things that I did every day, but I was really like grasping to get 50 things that were unique that LinkedIn was offering at the time. And so now it's 100 skills. Go make sure they align with the job you want to be in and with the skills you already have. And so if you have experience, maybe even if it's not on your most recent resume, maybe if it was 2 decades ago, go ask people to put the recommendation or skill set plus there so others can find it, because it's not always in your recent job history. The other thing I would say is publications is huge. If you're not published yet, that's okay. You can publish an article on LinkedIn and become published. It's that easy. You just hit go. But go talk about a topic in your industry. Go write about your experience of being laid off and, with your colleagues, and how your experience could be utilized in this industry, but so many haven't. And so how do you stand out? Maybe you have tips for others in your industry. Go do something that sets you apart, that will allow you to feature that publication, because an enriched profile is bolstered by LinkedIn. They like people who put in the work. It's just like the teacher. They're not going to show you an essay that was thrown together, a couple of lines in each paragraph and just, checking boxes. They're going to show you the best of the best. And so remember that when you move forward. The other thing I would say to keep your profile popping is go engage. Go engage with other leaders of industry that you're wanting to work in. Go engage in positive, thoughtful conversation. The way you engage matters. If I'm interested in your profile because you've done everything we've told you, And then I find that all your comments are just hateful to the person who laid you off, or to the environment in which you now live, or it just seems like you're maybe not together. It's going to hurt you, not help you. And so be careful in how you engage, not just in your LinkedIn profile, but in your commentary as well. Felipe, I could go all day, but I think that's where I'll end.
No, I love what you're sharing, and I love some of the comments here. Thank you all for those of you who have joined us here, Bill and Christy and Jamie, Professor Chris. Thank you so much, Nevi. I want to highlight some of the things here because for federal workers, there is a resource that I'm going to be sharing. Thurman Trotman, who does a show with me on Saturdays called Social Saturday Chat, he has put together a resource for federal workers specifically. That I'm going to share. He's going to send it to me, and I'm going to try to share it in the comments here as well. But if you're looking for it directly, check out Thurman Trotman. But Nevi, thank you for sharing this resource here as well. She says that she would suggest that everyone download and save all copies of your EOPF earnings and leave statements and anything associated with your employee file. And the reason for that is because some of these agencies are closing down, and there's no one else going to be working there. So there's no one to contact to say, oh, can I get a copy of this? So to her point, get copies of what you need now because you might not have access to it later. Bill, thank you for sharing that there's lots of jobs available in Georgia. Hyundai Meta plant needs to hire 1,000 more with great paying benefits. So thank you for that. Let's see here. Professor Chris, you were sharing that recruiters are still looking for remote workers, and they are. There are still remote working jobs. Are there fewer? Yes. I think there's plenty of hybrid jobs still out there. Federal government is leaning hard into 5 days a week and being in full office 5 days a week. So keep that in mind. Here's a comment from Bill. Can I set up facilities in Vancouver? And then let's see here.
Felipe, I got to tell you, every time you read something, you're smacking your lips. You got to knock it off.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. All right. So
I know you don't need to, but listen, let's get into this a little bit, guys, because there's so many live humans waiting to talk.
There are. And so,
yeah.
Well, and what I want to do is I want to encourage people to put comments and make sure that if you have questions, come up on stage or put them in the comments. And we do have questions here. Jay, I will get to your question shortly, but feel free to join us on stage. We did put the link in there as well. But with that being said, let's go to our first speaker here. Let's see. Oh, let me get the comment down here. Marcia, thank you for joining us. It's so great to see you here. Please, unmic, share your question or advice for job seekers or your experience. The mic is yours.
Hello, everybody, and I hope everybody's well. A couple of things, Felipe. It's been on my mind, since we write in DC, and a lot of our workers have been, a lot of the federal folks live in this area. But this is my take. So when you working, I'm not trying to be unsympathetic, but my motto, because I've been through some things being an older worker, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Because since I live in DC, because I do workforce during the week, and we have so many great resources in DC, like in the suburbs, like no calls, computer training, resume writing, resume prep. So I'm figuring if you want to just take a few minutes and just make sure that your skills are updated while you work and keep your skill. I cannot stress the emphasis on keeping your skill set updated. Keep your skills updated. Like Felipe said, volunteer. Like Melissa said, keep your profile updated. And just don't sit back and just think that everything's forever. Because, for me, after September 11th, when I got laid off for 6 months, that's when I found out right then, stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And Felipe, I was having a conversation with some people, and Melissa, I was having a conversation with a colleague, and we were talking about how expensive Cobra is, because that's what I want to partner. I'm going to be doing some things and teaching people how to cook healthy on a budget. Because if you stay healthy, I don't want people to have to worry about being unwell, because this is a very, very stressful time. And especially if you cannot afford the maybe up to $2,200 a month in Cobra. I could go on and on and on, but I'm going to stop. And I just want people to know that, like, this too shall pass. Is it going to pass immediately? Absolutely not. But we are going to get through this together. And thank you, Felipe and Melissa, for doing what you do. Thank you.
I love what you just said, and I got to jump in because you made me think of Maya Angelou, right? Every storm runs out of rain. It does not last forever. You're right. You got to hold on. You got to do what you can do. And what I love is you're creative. You're like, let me find a solution for those who can't afford those fees. And guys, that's another thought, right? You have to be kind to the humans around you because they're not just losing their job, they're losing their health care. They're losing their confidence and their ability to maintain life sometimes. These are medicine. There are medicines tied to these healthcare programs. That's why they're so vital. And so, Marcia, you know, I support anything you do, but that's what came up for me with your share. So thank you, Felipe.
Well, yeah, and Marcia, yeah, I totally appreciate and agree with you there. The mindset you have is such a healthy mindset, and I think that's what the goal is today. Is it's not about pointing out what went wrong. It's about what are we going to do to move forward? How are we going to be able to move forward and get through this? Because, like you said, this too shall pass. We are resilient. We've gone through 9/11, sniper shootings, economy. We've gone through crises left and right. I mean, it's been horrible these last 5 years. Pandemics, George Floyd. There's so much that we've dealt with. So we are resilient, and we'll get through this too. But we've got to think differently, and we got to think. Okay, go ahead.
Can I add something else real quick? I'm sorry.
Sure.
So, and I know, Felipe, a lot of the federal government workers, they've been in their jobs for a long time, 30, 40 years. We have to really help them change their mindset because there's no more there's no more 171 forms. Teach them how to upload, keyword, password. Y'all, this is deep. Because like I said, I'm of that age group. But we have to help them, like you said, change their mindset and make them feel, really important. But show them that this is the new way now. ATS tracking, get them a book to write down their passwords. Y'all, this is deep. It's if you ain't been through it, it's deep. Thank you.
No, and you're right. You're so right. And it is something that I had to create a sheet of all the skills that people had that were dealing with government or in the federal government and for years, like you said, all their career. And I had to show them all these skills. I showed them how they transferred into the private sector, the corporate sector, other industries. And I showed them how valuable, and they just never thought about their skills in that way. But please know that and Melissa and I are here to share with you these insights, this information, but also more specifically, the questions that you have. And we are going to get to the questions in the chat here. Melissa, I'm going to let you introduce Gregory, and we can, after that, go into some of the questions in the chat. As always, feel free to join us on stage as well. So, Melissa, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Gregory, what's coming up for you? Because I feel like this chat could go on forever, but I do see Bill is chomping at the bit to have us address his comments. And so, Gregory, I'm going to bring it to you. What are you feeling today? What's coming up?
Well, I'm a U.S. federal government worker, so I'm just basically coming in from the land of 36,000 feet here. Excuse me. By the way, thank you for the private DMs this morning and stuff. Melissa, thank you for that. Should U.S. federal government workers be very stealth-like, like Top Gun stealth-like, and basically be copying, getting access to their performance reviews and all that, and their employee files and all that jazzy type of stuff for their own personal internal use and stuff. That's just making it one trick pony. I can't give any commentary because I'm not part or was a part of the United States federal government.
Listen,
stuff,
I don't want to get into the government stuff necessarily anyway. We're here to be very focused on the help we can give federal workers.
I know.
So,
I'm just asking you a question.
Ask the question. Let's do it.
That's the question I asked and stuff. So.
Well, and that's the thing is, I mean, I don't know what the question was necessarily because I got lost in the 36,000 foot. So ask it again very cleanly.
Okay. Sorry. I'm a preamble king. should federal government, U.S. government workers be very stealth-like, getting performance reviews and their employee files and all that type of jazzy stuff, basically? So
I don't know if it's stealth like. I don't know that performance reviews are private or confidential. And so I don't recommend, and we're not recommending you to break any kind of law. But Gregory, it's a question that's cool, to ask. But I don't know. Everybody's got to do it their own way and the way they feel comfortable. But your data, your stats, if you're a teacher and you help 99% of your classes successfully pass to the next grade, if you're a trainer in the government and you helped your teams that were given to you to develop and promote successfully pass through, if you had 100% success in your case control or whatever it is, you have data you can take away without taking people's data with you. You don't have to know Felipe's name to know that I trained him successfully in X if he's my underling or whatever it is in the government, right? And so I think we got to be careful in how we approach blanket conversations and topics, but you need data. Because the HR guy is going to go, what did you do in your last role? And if you say it's confidential, they'll go, well, okay, that doesn't help me know if you're a fit. And so you have to be able to speak to something. And I think if you're, in need of that, that's where you go into more of a consulting coaching moment with somebody who can help you figure out what your skill sets were, guide you. I know that's something I did a lot, Felipe, and maybe you too, where I have people fill out an application, and as a recruiter, I didn't get a lot of white collar roles. It was blue collar. And so they weren't very concise on their skill sets. They would say, hey, I'm a welder. And it would say, I did welding. And I would have to pull it, drag it out of them. What were the tools you used? Walk me through from the moment you clocked in. What kind of tool did you use to clock in? Was it a clicker? You just pushed the paper in, or did you have to use a computer? And as you ask these questions, you develop that with the human, but that's not something you can do quickly in this room. And so I think if you're a federal worker, somebody recently laid off because of the changes, you should really take Felipe and I up on this private session, because those are those topics we can dive into very in-depth, concise to you, right, based on your background, because it really does matter. We can give a lot of blanket statements on how to do it for you, but beyond making sure it's in depth, we can't. We have to know what you do and how we should word it for your industry, like diversity, equity, inclusion, right? I'm going to say it and then I'm going to pass it to you. You might need new terminology to get in the door now in some organizations, but you still need to be able to speak to that skill set of what you did. And so maybe you don't use DEI, but maybe you use the things that DEI covers, the subtopics, to have that conversation. Felipe?
Yeah. So, and just to close up on this here, again, there's no need to be stealthy. The goal is to, if you have access to information that is yours, you should take it. To Melissa's point, do not try to take anything that's confidential, proprietary of the company, personal protected information of individuals that is not appropriate or legal. What we're suggesting is, if you had information on projects that you worked on that you are able to show proof of, that you're able to take, access to your previous paychecks in case you need to have them, in case the access gets taken away, things that you normally would have access to that you wanted to have copies of your medical information maybe that you provided. But performance reviews, why? I've never in my entire career ever asked anyone for a copy of their previous performance review, nor have I ever provided a copy of my previous performance review. So stuff like that is completely irrelevant, in my opinion, unless you are trying to build a lawsuit.
No, I think the performance reviews, I've sent them to myself. I saw a comment say somebody also did the same thing. When I had a review.
When have you ever given it to somebody else?
I haven't, and I don't think that's what it was for. But the data that comes off of it, I don't have it stored in my brain what the last 6 quarters look like in data sets permanently memorized. But if I'm laid off, having them in my file cabinet and I have to discern what I've done, having those metrics or having those quotes from my boss to put into that conversation or interview, I think that's the value that they're talking about, not necessarily paying it forward to the next employer.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's probably some information of stuff that your boss may have said about you that you want to reiterate and quote, but I think there's more important information that you need to capture and make sure you have, like your pay. If you're going out and buying a car or a loan and you need previous pay for unemployment purposes, you need that information. If you have documentations and emails about you being laid off or your job being eliminated or being furloughed, you need copies of that to send for unemployment. You need proof that you were furloughed or laid off for future employers to show that you didn't quit or get fired. So prioritize the documentation that you need, because once it's cut off, you all. So don't go down the rabbit hole of looking for things that you might possibly want. Look for what you need first, and then if you have time, then go after the other stuff. But I've seen people already lose access. So that's why if you hear a sense of almost an urgency in my voice, it's because it's real. All right,
can I add a tip real quick?
I want to get to these questions that people have been asking, so make it quick.
So hold on, guys. Listen, because of what he just said, write this down. Go to your profile. Go to your settings. Back up your data. Your personal data is there. Everything you've posted, your comments, your connections, all of the stuff is there. Back it up and set a reminder to do it often. Often can be decided by you. Some of you will think that's 1 month. Some of you will think it's weekly. It depends on how active you are. So just make sure you're doing that. Okay. Felipe,
all right, let's get these questions. All right. So Jay asked, how can clients answer the question, why did you leave your previous job in an interview due to unexpected layoff? So here's the thing. Being told, sharing that you were laid off, your job was eliminated, you were furloughed, that is the best answer you could ever give, because those are reasons that were out of your control. You didn't choose to leave. You didn't get fired. It was completely business related, outside influences. So an employer is going to be very forgiving of that. However, the real question is, what did you do during that time? That's what you need to have ready. Did you go and get a certification and study? Did you go back to school? Did you volunteer? Did you start doing your own consultancy? What did you do? Because if you leave it up to the employer or the recruiter to guess, they are not going to guess favorably. They're going to guess, well, did they sit on their butt and watch TV all day? I don't know. But they are not telling me, so recruiters are going to assume the worst many times. But having a letter, and that's why you want to get that saying that you were laid off or furloughed to no fault of your own, that's what you want to show unemployment. That's what you want to show your next employer, to prove to them that it wasn't because you did anything wrong. As far as, let's see here, we have...
Before we move on, I would like to respond to that. Because
sure.
Honestly, I disagree in today's climate. Because there are people who were let go for poor performance that never had a bad review. And so there aren't the capabilities to have that always. I would say this, as a recruiter, if everybody was laid off during COVID, if you were searching during COVID, I used my common sense to go, hey, everybody took a little longer to find a job during COVID. Now, if you don't want people to assume, you can add in, you can say, I was actively job searching. That's a very quick gap filler, guys. And you know what? Depending on the industry, it can take 6 months to a year. Depending on the level, they're not quick to find like high-level CEOs, right? If you've been the CEO of like Yahoo, Melissa, I think Myers she might not fall into her next role immediately, because honestly, the higher I got in my job, the harder it was to find a comparable role. And so I think we need to be careful and mindful. We definitely, as recruiters and leaders of business, need to look at the climate that's out there, because if you're job hunting when everybody's being laid off on this, I mean, gosh, I don't need a letter to know you just got laid off by the federal government if I've been watching the news in the past month, right? But it is really important to be careful how you're posting. Make sure your LinkedIn profile is up to date. You're still networking and you're doing it mindfully. Because if you expect to return to the government at some point, you have to be mindful of your social media presence and how you're acting and how you're speaking about your former employers online, because it does matter. It doesn't matter if they're right or wrong, guys. It still speaks to you. If Felipe is your next HR guy and he upsets you, are you going to do the same for him? Right or wrong? That's just a fact. And so be mindful. Okay.
So, but again, to my point about the layoff letter, that is that is something that if you have it, you want to use it. There's no question about it. The recruiter and the employer is going to see that as a positive. So to me, I highly encourage you all to have that. And Christy, you mentioned having recommendation letters. If you can get those recommendation letters, get them. Recommendations on your LinkedIn profile are valuable, but you also want to make sure that you can get some from your previous bosses. That's always a wonderful thing. Melissa, you mentioned written articles. I just want to highlight that too. They are picked up by Google Index and increase your SEO. So doing articles is a great way to showcase your skills, your knowledge, your experience. And David, I agree. It's important to engage with those posts. As far as this question here from Bill. So Bill, do a post for all remote jobs here. I have 10,000 contacts worldwide looking for remote jobs. So Bill has contacts that are people that are of remote jobs. So if you have people that are looking for remote jobs, reach out to Bill. And let's see here.
I think it was the opposite. I think he knows 10,000 remote workers. I could be wrong, but listen, guys.
Hold on. Sorry. I have 10,000 contacts worldwide looking for remote. I apologize. Okay, yeah. So if you have remote jobs, contact Bill. He knows people are looking for remote jobs. Forgive me. And he said his contact email is on his email. All right. So I just want to go through and see if there were any other questions before we go to our next. All right. So here's a question, Melissa, from Adrian about the Open to Work banner. So I know that this has been something that people have had different opinions on. I've even gone back and forth on it, my own. But in reference to this topic today, if you were laid off, furloughed, your job was eliminated to no fault of your own, put that Open to Work banner on. Put it on because it's going to help you, and everybody else in that boat is probably looking at doing the same thing. Right now, it is not something that is. I don't think any negative association with the Open to Work banner that you may have heard about in the past. Right now, it is not a negative association. Now it's just the reality of the world that we're in, and people need to make sure that they are promoting themselves as available, because if you're not, they might look at the person next to you that is promoting themselves as available. But Melissa, what are your thoughts?
I invited people to the show today, and if you had a green banner, I personally invited you. If you did not have it displayed, I didn't waste my invite. I don't know you're looking. I'm not going to go look at your profile when hosts of shows who are giving it away for free to help you go to look for you. It doesn't tell us you're open to work. It doesn't show us your post. It shows a few pieces of your headline and your picture. And so if that green little thing isn't around it, I don't know. And I don't understand anybody who hates an Open to Work banner. It's like having your resume on there. It gives more search capabilities. It lets recruiters know you're looking in the same fashion. If they go to search through people of industry and they, are looking for a banker and you don't have your green banner on, but 5 other people in that list do, they're not going to waste their paid invites, their in-mail credits on you. They're not. And so if you're going to eliminate that, you better be networking privately. That is the only reason I would say not have it on, is if you don't want your boss to know. If you're not laid off and you're actively looking, it can hurt you if they find out you're looking. But I turn it on once in a while just to see what happens on LinkedIn if I have it on. And when I have it on, I see more content of businesses. When I shut it off, I see more recruiters post. And so guys, maybe you turn it on and off because LinkedIn is hiding it. If you are looking for work, you don't see recruiters as often. That is the downside of it. But to be invited, that's the only way I can find you.
Well, I love that advice. And please keep on putting the questions in the chat, because I want to make sure that people are able to see them, and we want to make sure that we are addressing any questions you have. I'm scrolling here really quickly to make sure that I'm not missing any. But thank you for everyone for engaging and sharing your insights here. This has been really great. All right, so our next person on stage here is Chris. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Bill, can I just tell you, we don't have a list of jobs ready for anybody. We're here to help you bolster your own LinkedIn profile so people with the list of jobs can find you. And so if there was some misunderstanding, I'm sorry. and we don't have a list to offer. And none of our people that I see here currently are hiring in mass. It looks like people who want to take this information and use it for themselves to find roles. So I'm sorry if we can't fill that gap, but hopefully somebody in Team Replay can help. Okay.
All right. So, so Chris, please unmic, share your thoughts, insights, any questions you may have.
Sure. Well, I guess I'll start, with a question. What Melissa just said actually was something curious to me, because I've worked at several organizations that are contract roles, and there are people who are, particularly in the medical sales field, who around this time of year, we get a little itchy because there's, this seasonality of hiring, and there's no guarantee that there's marketing behind some of the products. We're never privy to the decisions that are being made behind the scenes. I don't have to worry about this now. I work at a one-stop shop company, but thinking about people I've worked with in the past, people I know that have reached out to me recently who are struggling, they're afraid of the open to work banner because in the med device pharmaceutical industry, the second you put that up, even if it's like known that your contract is coming to an end or that your company might not be performing as well nationally, even if you're doing well, it's really looked down upon and scrutinized. So how would somebody in that situation know to communicate to somebody in human resources without putting up the green banner that, hey, do they really have to go that far behind the scenes and just do like Scooby-Doo detective work to find out who's really hiring? Or is there a more subtle way to put it out there that you're looking without saying I'm looking?
Well, so the open to work feature has two options. You can have the open to work on and say you're casually looking, or that you're looking immediately. You can have it on with the green banner or without the green banner. The green banner lets everybody know. Not having the green banner, but having the open to work feature turned on lets recruiters who have LinkedIn Recruiter on able to see you. That's where it's a little bit safer. It's a little bit discreet. People don't know you have it on just by looking at your profile. Only those recruiters that are paying for that. And that's usually at larger companies that can afford it, or the mid to larger companies that have that, because it's about $10,000 a year for LinkedIn Recruiter. So you're not going to have your average Joe who's going to have it. And small business owners are probably not going to have it. So that's why when you have that open, your boss is not likely to see it. Now, a recruiter, executive recruiter, a corporate recruiter, they are going to have access to it. HR offices that work for a big organization, they might have it for their recruiters. So again, it is something that there are options of doing it a little more discreetly so that your supervisors don't know.
I would add that networking has always been sales 101, right? And it's the same when it goes to jobs. You're the product all of a sudden. And so I think the best way to sell a product when you can't openly market it is to tell people, hey, I have this product. Do you know anybody who's buying it? It could be Bob the neighbor who needs a new lawnmower. But I think being in the homeowners association, having a ton of friends from that group helps you sell a lawnmower a lot more effectively than somebody who's like me, who doesn't always know the neighbors or has quite a bit of distance and there's no HOA, right? I think the other side of it is engaging in networking groups or in conversations like this, just finding people in the comments. There are people who lead businesses everywhere. And if they have a product to sell, the first thing I would do is go, hey, so-and-so, I saw you at Felipe's show. I saw you commenting on what Melissa was saying. I would love to meet you for 15 minutes, do a coffee chat. It's one of those things LinkedIn naturally has kind of built into the networking mindset, which is cool. And I think that can create a conversation. That ask of, hey, Felipe, I'm looking for work. I need a sales role. I'm looking for X amount of dollars a year. Who do you know that might need a me? Because Felipe is in a lot of rooms and he knows a lot of business leaders, and he would probably be able to get me in without HR knowing or without my banner up. And I do think that's important. I also will tell you, you can set it to where people in your business won't see it. It does not work well if you have a brand that has numerous facets with different names. If they have different LinkedIn pages, for example, for the businesses and different layers of it, different recruiters from different branches would see you if you said it to, hey, don't show my company. So be mindful. But there's, if you live in fear, guys, I feel like you're going to display that in other areas. And so for me, you got to make the determination. How committed to this company are you? Do they know you well enough to know you wouldn't leave them without conversation? Because I think a lot of the people who are in leadership that would fire you for looking are doing it because they don't want to be broken up with kind of feeling, and they're going to fire you first. So just maybe have that conversation, right? If I tell Felipe, my HR guy, hey, listen, I need extra money. I need a second job. I know that the market's unstable right now, so I'm just going to put my foot in another bucket until we know if I need to jump full feet back here. And I think having that conversation and communicating early helps a lot. But you just have to be mindful because you know who you work for. I can't speak for them.
That's a great point. And I think one of the things that we have to remember is when you're networking out there and, well, actually, let me go back. First of all, with HR, I want to make sure that, I agree with Michael down there that unless HR has LI recruiter package, you don't need to worry about it. And HR people, I'm not going to say all of them because I know we're all different, and I know HR, some have very bad reputations, but the only way that I know typically that someone's looking for a job that works for me, because I don't have LinkedIn Recruiter, y'all. I don't pay the $10,000 a year for that. They disconnect with me. And all of a sudden I just realized that they disconnected with me, and it's not because I get a notification. It might just be because maybe I went to tag them, or maybe I was just curious about something and I noticed that we're not connected. That to me is the red flag that they're looking for a job because they disconnected with the HR person. Am I going to go to them and confront them? No. I'm going to just start being a little more attentive to figure out, are they unhappy? What's going on in their life? Sometimes I find out they decided to go back to school, or their spouse is moving and they got to relocate and they haven't told anybody yet. And so, but sometimes it might be because they're unhappy and there's something I can do to change that. Other people, like Melissa said, will get vindictive. Like, well, I'm going to break up with you before you break up with me. Okay, grow up. Good Lord. We're not in high school, but some people, unfortunately, are going to treat it like that. So, and thank you, Chris, for not disconnecting with me, for not going to your Go Brunch more often.
He said he is going to. You don't read the
I'm too fast.
I was like, that's not what he said. Way to misquote the man. It's right there on the screen.
All right,
listen.
Wait, hold on. Before you, one more thing I wanted to share, though, because I think that somebody asked about networking. And, well, actually, you know what? Before we get into networking, go ahead and say your point. Sorry.
No, I like what you guys are saying, right? And I think it's important to figure it out for you. But I love that we're bringing it back to networking. I was going to kind of just, because I saw the comments. So cool. Go for it, Felipe.
Okay. So, all right. So who was it that was it? Was it David that asked the question? Because Mike, I feel like
David Pushkin asked, what are your tips for networking as a job seeker?
Yeah. And I'm trying to find the okay. So anyways, so here's the thing. So, I just actually did this for at our all staff because we talked about networking. And, one thing I want to say first and foremost is we've said it over and over again. One of the best tools for networking is LinkedIn. And one of the best things you can do is comment. I can't stress enough. I'm not going to sit there and try to teach you all how to create content because 1% of the 1 billion people on this platform are creating content. That's such a small percentage that it just tells me that chances are I am not going to convince the other 99% to create content. It's just not what they want to do. But sharing your insight and knowledge by commenting on other people's posts that you want to connect with, that you want to work with, that you want to do business with, that is going to be the first thing you want to do because that is so important. Now, I will say, and we've already said it before, so I'm going to repeat it. If you do not have a clear mission and an updated profile, you're going to have an uphill battle. Okay. So again, make sure that you update. If you missed what we talked about, go back to the beginning of the show. We went over that, Melissa and I, but you want to make sure that you have a full and complete update profile. But the commenting is definitely huge. You also want to make sure that when you comment, you ask thoughtful questions in the comments, because people, if they're even a little bit OCD, even a little bit, they're going to want to reply back to that question because they can't help themselves. So that is going to help you do that. And then make sure that you follow up and stay visible with them. Just because you have one comment or they connected with you, oh, great, I'm connected, I'm done. No, maintain that relationship. Networking is not just a one size fits all, or not, sorry. It's not a one-time event. It's a ongoing opportunity for you to build a relationship. So I just want to encourage people that commenting and always taking it to that next level. After you comment, move it to a DM. After a DM, maybe move that to a Zoom call. After that Zoom call, maybe say you're able to meet in real life. But that's the beauty of networking, is that it can lead to so much more once you find that person that you want to build a more meaningful relationship, depending on that goal. All right, I'll stop there. What are your thoughts about networking, Melissa? Because we are at the top of the hour.
I know, I'm excited. Okay, so networking is life, guys. Not 100%. I'm being a little bit crass when I say that like that, but it really has helped me do everything I've ever wanted to do. Everything. One conversation changed everything every time. And so find ways to have the conversation is the easiest way to give you that advice. There are communities being built all the time. There are rooms like this, live events all the time. They have these engagement articles, right? Where you can go and just engage with the article that LinkedIn prompted and get out there. You can go find the articles other people are writing. Use that search box. They tried to kill hashtags. Nobody gave it up. I got to be honest, I refused. So I just kept doing it. But if you go up there and in your search box, you put hashtag sales, hashtag marketing, you're going to find hashtag community. You're going to find the things you're looking for and the people posting about it. When you do that, it's going to bring you back search results you can filter down. You can filter by location. You can filter by time frame. You can filter by connections. I dare you to go try to comment on the first and second connections. Go find posts of people Felipe knows. You're connected to him. You can engage with his network because you are. You can go get in there a little bit easier. And there's a lot of people who are open to that. And if you're really just hard pressed to do this, Social Saturday Chat was a huge hashtag. What other hashtags, Felipe? I'm going to bring it back to you. But what other hashtags? If you just said, I'm open to connect as the basis of your post, in a cool picture that grabs attention, something fun, right? Because everybody wants to connect with fun. What would be one or two hashtags you would recommend they add?
Well, see, you're throwing me off for fun because a hashtag is popular is just hashtag job seeker, but a fun one, it also depends on what's going on the time of the year. Time of the year might be a fun hashtag to tie into something that's happening, whether it's a holiday, a special event, something that's being celebrated that you want to tie it into. All the hashtags that are coming to mind right now are all like professional hashtags. I'm not thinking of any good fun ones right now.
Well, guys, honestly, it could be something as simple as pizza. Do you know there's a ton of brands on LinkedIn that sell pizza? They promote businesses that circle themselves around pizza or products or sauce or whatever. And that hashtag is something humans connect around a lot, right? If I put a pizza on the table, we're going to migrate towards it eventually. I can't help myself. And I don't want to speak for you, but that's me, right? And so what is that thing that people show up for? I see food. They say, keep food off LinkedIn. Well, I say it's one of the best posts every time I see a post, right? Maybe you can tie it into something meaningful. Maybe it's you taught yourself how to cook this new recipe because you were bored at home while you were hashtag job seeking. Right? And so get creative, but I think go find ways to have conversation. And humans like to talk about food. They like to talk about themselves. So if you ask us questions, we will respond. And I think there's some value there. So Felipe, it's 9:02. I think we should tell our new friends who we are, because maybe we have new friends now. We're streaming all over the place.
We are. Why don't you go first? And then maybe we can do a little quick show of our video again to see if you'll get a little vote on it, and
I love this.
And then
You guys, we're trying to bring some joy. This is a heavy conversation, but we do want to ask you to bring questions. We do want to ask you to still join us on stage. Chris has another question to queue up after we do this quick reset. But honestly, I need to hydrate and maybe grab a snack. This is a hard-hitting conversation.
Why don't you reintroduce yourself, and then you can rehydrate when we play the video.
Woohoo! All right, guys, I'm Melissa Houston. I'm the cultivator of dreams, motivator of human capital. And what that means is I help people figure out what they want to be when they grow up and get a plan of action together to get there. I use accountability, mindset, my eyebrows sometimes to get it done, but I'm here to help. And I have been a recruiter and a certified staffing professional. I have opened a few businesses from scratch and helped them grow, and run a couple others. I was a coach and consultant since 2015. I've been almost 10 years next month now. So if you need help, I could help with Venn diagrams, crayons, and a little bit of fun. So that's me. Felipe, why don't you tell them about you?
Well, for those of you I've not had the pleasure of meeting, sorry, I'm trying to do too many things here. What am I doing here? There we go. For those who have not the pleasure of meeting, my name is Felipe Cofino. I am an HR executive, a career coach, a LinkedIn enthusiast, recently named LinkedIn Top Voice. And for me, I am very passionate about being on LinkedIn because it's my way of giving back. I've been on it for 17 years, being able to recruit, retain, promote companies I've worked for, start building my own brand. But doing these audio rooms with people like Melissa has been the best way to give back. To give back the knowledge and the experience and the insights that I've gained over the years, because people have been generous enough to share it with me and I've benefited from it. So for me, if I can spare people from going through the long journey and make it a little bit easier, that's what we're here for. And Melissa is an amazing coach who does so much great work with people. I try to help people with their careers in their workplace. She helps people with their careers in their life. Together, we make a good team. And like we always say, we don't always agree on which path to take, but the end goal is always the same. So that is a little bit about us. So with that, we're going to take a quick 1-minute commercial break. Feel free to check out this quick video. Let us know your thoughts in the chat. Should we change it? Keep it? Was it funny? Was it great? Was it horrible? We are not going to get our feelings hurt because there are 18 versions of this that did not make the cut. And this one is still not the one that we're convinced is going to be the one. So
hey, I was in the know with you guys. So he says we, and I love that it's the we, but this is all Felipe. And I got to say, I dig it. It's fun. It's different. He's not happy with it, but guys, it was a great way to start the day. So let's do this.
And Chris, stay on stage because we're going to get back to your question in a minute. Here we go.
Welcome to the show, it's your career crew. Melissa and Felipe bringing wisdom to you. We've been there, done that, now it's our turn to share what we've learned so you can take your turn. We're navigating pathways, turning chaos to gold. Careers, chaos, and coaching, keep it real with laughs and advice to help you seal the deal. A safe and gold, helping you succeed. That's how we roll.
All right. So feel free to share in the comments in there because, again, was it too 80s? Was it too? Was it too?
I can hear the shade of pink in your face. I just need you to know. I love how much giggle this gives you. Even if it's not the one, it was so great because I could hear it. I have never heard you be pink before.
Well, because it's a fun little thing to be able to play with. It's like, oh, I'm able to create some music and lyrics to something. So it's a new toy, basically, almost.
I am so sorry for the people that you are in charge of their HR because I know you're going to do a play. I know you are. You're gonna
you, you know me too well.
Oh, guys, I need the replay. Call me. Just call me. I will show up to just pay for the airfare, and I'm there to watch Felipe give these presentations. I'm happy to show up and
Oh,
support you, Felipe, in any way I can. I think it'll be great. Listen, it'll be memorable. It'll be one of the only HR presentation they'll actually remember. It'll be great. Do it. I dare you. Double dog.
all right. Well, Chris, let's get back to you. Please share your question or comment you wanted to share. The mic is yours.
Yeah, sure. So earlier, before the transition, you guys were talking about networking and those hashtags. One of the things that I do when I'm trying to find people that I'm specifically targeting for networking for my newsletter or whatever else is I'll just talk to ChatGPT Advanced Voice. I'll throw it up real quick and I'll start talking to it about some of the stuff I'm interested in. And every once in a while, I'll just do a check-in with it, like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. Like, hey, give me some hashtags I haven't thought about to go search for on either LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook. So, and by the way, if you're networking, always network based off of what social your industry is the most prevalent on, right? So if you're in human resources, executive leadership, accounting, whatever else, LinkedIn's definitely the prime place to go. But if you're, in branding and self-marketing, it might not necessarily be LinkedIn. You might want to be more focused on networking on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, so it's always dependent. But anyway, long story short, just ChatGPT Advanced Voice, always check in with it every once in a while. If you ever have a question about, just different ways of thinking that you might not be thinking about, just ask that very simple question. What I might be missing? What else can I be doing to help myself? What blind spots might I have? And it helps me every day with that. So just a quick tip.
I know, excellent tips. And I love that you shared that because, again, use ChatGPT as a tool. Let it help you because it's got insights and it's going to provide you some things that you didn't think about, and it allows you to build off of it. So I really appreciated that you mentioned that. And Chris, the advances for people's knowledge, how much is the advance per month? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, so if you just download regular old ChatGPT, you get a limited version of the advanced for free every day. And then you actually get the not advanced voice for free. You can't interrupt it. So you could talk to it, but you have to wait till it gives its full long-winded response before you're able to ask it another question. Advanced voice, you can interrupt it in flow during a conversation. I think you get like an hour or two a day for $20 a month like that, or maybe more than that, 2-3 hours a day you get for $20 a month. And then if you upgrade, I think it's like $60 a month, you go full business edition. Or I don't know, whatever. I forget the next step up from that. I think is 60. That's definitely worth it if you do stuff like what I do, where you're using it nonstop. And then there's the enterprise version, which is like $2,000 a month, and that's crazy what you can do with that one. But yeah, for the most part, for this, you can get it all off the free version.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you very much. And I gotta say, again, the free version, it's what I use. Like the images, you only get 3 images a day, unless you pay the paid version. The same, I guess, the audio talk version, you can't interrupt it. So play with it. If you all have not tried to play with it, at least try. It's going to help you up your game. It might help you reword something that you wrote to polish it. Not change who you are, just polish it up a little bit. I need a little help with my grammar sometimes. There's some polishing. Doesn't have horrible grammar, but there's things that could be said a little bit shorter or a little bit more succinct or a little bit better. And if ChatGPT can help me with that, I'm not ashamed to use it. What I won't do is write me a letter or write something saying ABC, go. No, I'm not going to let that. I'm going to write my thoughts out and I'm going to put what I want and then go from there. So first of all,
wait, I want to add to this. Guys, simple ways to use prompts on ChatGPT. If you've never done it, because some haven't, You can take your about section, your summary of your resume, and go put it into ChatGPT and say, tell me about this person. What do you know? Something very simple. It's already created. You don't even have to recreate the wheel, but ChatGPT will be analytical and say, hey, I know you're a coach, you're a consultant, you have done operations in business, and you're a host of live events, right? That tells me, cool, I have the bullet points down, but it doesn't say I also have the emotional women. Let me go back in and edit my about section to make sure it's highlighting that. So do that. Also go in and ask it, like, what are some very common interview questions based on what you're reading on my resume, right? And then they'll give you some ideas of questions you can be prepared to answer. You may not be asked those, but it will get you thinking analytically about your skill sets and to be prepared for coming questions. They may not be identical, but they will have you digging deep to figure out what you've learned. And you could ask them to ask you 30 questions, 50 questions. There's no limit to how you use this except your limitations, right? And so make sure you're asking the right questions. If you're not sure how to use it, go to YouTube. Say how to use ChatGPT as a job seeker. There's going to be a ton of people who have content out there ready to find. Same thing with LinkedIn. That search bar is super helpful. Somebody had put hashtag hiring there. And I got to say, if you are looking for a job, this is a gold tip. Write it down. You go to that search bar, put in hashtag hiring, click on post, filter to the last week, and you have every person who posted about hiring on LinkedIn for the last week right there in a feed, and you can just start engaging there. You can go follow the rabbit hole down. Do not apply on LinkedIn. Go to the website, read the job description there, make sure you're making tweaks to the resume. You can use ChatGPT to say, hey, this is my resume now. This is the job description. What suggestions do you have to make changes so they align better? It's a magic tool, but get out there and start using it, because then when somebody asks, what were you doing in between jobs? You can say, I was learning how to use ChatGPT more effectively. Here's the 10 ways I used it. Felipe?
And there's probably a certificate on LinkedIn for ChatGPT. I wouldn't be surprised. All right.
You beat me to the point.
There you go. So, and that way you get a certificate on your LinkedIn profile showing people that you have it. All right. So listen, I'm going to do a Felipe's 5 posts. I'm not going to do it all right now, of this presentation I did to these 200 people and the 3 other groups I did, including one of my staff. And real quick, I just want to go over the agenda because I want you all to think about these things here, okay? These are some strategies I want you all to think about, okay? We're talking about sending out to recruiters and how to be effective when you send out to recruiters. And it's important to make sure that you really do try to reach out to them and don't use the AI feature in LinkedIn to let it write for you. Because here's the tip for this one. Recruiters will know immediately if you used the AI and didn't customize it, because the first sentence from that AI is the same on every message, as well as other sentences in there. So if I read the first sentence, I know it's AI, I'm already got a negative impression of you. So customize your messages when you reach out to them, and reach out to the low-hanging fruit. Tap into your network. Use internal connections that you already have. Go to that job company page, look at the people in that company, see who is a first connection to you, and reach out to them and say, hey, we may have never spoken, or I know we've only spoken a little bit, but in case there's an employee referral program, is there any way you'd be willing to flag my resume because I just applied for this job? There you go. It's a win-win. They might get money for if they hire you, and you might get your resume flagged. But tap into those people that might work in there that you might know, or just reach out to the recruiter if you know who it is. All right. Leveraging your network, we talked about that. Showcasing your skills to differentiate yourself. Here's where you want to comment. That's the way to showcase your skills and differentiate yourself. Share an insightful additional thought to their post, or ask an insightful question about their post. This is going to help you stand out. If you want to create content, do it. Share it, create content, put it on your feature page. It's great, but that's how you can showcase yourself, especially if you're doing marketing or something snazzy that has a lot of imagery. Great opportunity. Open the work banner, we talked about that already. How to manage AI, I already warned you about that. The one thing I'll say about job alerts and applications is if you're using LinkedIn or Indeed or whoever to apply for jobs or individual websites, create your own master spreadsheet, you all. Create your master spreadsheet of where you're applying to and track it. LinkedIn tracks the ones you apply on LinkedIn, Indeed tracks the ones you apply on Indeed, but you will forget. There's just so much going on. There's so much that you're applying at. Create a spreadsheet or track it on your an app on your phone, whatever you need to do, but keep that organized. And then the LinkedIn quick apply versus applying to the career site, always apply to the career site. There's an option on the LinkedIn quick apply that recruiters sometimes choose that says, oh, just email me candidates that apply to this. Well, that's a whole nother separate, basically, database of candidates that the recruiter needs to look through. Their primary database is going to be their applicant tracking system that comes from the website. Those are the applicants they're going to look at first. If you use a quick apply and it doesn't take you to their website directly, do not use it, because you're going to be put in a secondary bucket and you might not even be looked at. So you want to get into that first bucket by applying on their website. So if you click the quick apply and it takes you to their website, then you're okay. But if it's just quick apply, submit your resume and hit submit, that's just, you're going to be buried. So, and then LinkedIn Premium, is it worth it? Here's what I want to share about this. LinkedIn Premium, you have only 5 personalized connection requests messages that you can send with a free version now. They changed it. It sucks. Premium gives you the option to send so many more messages. So during your job search, it is beneficial. But here's the thing. You can get LinkedIn Premium free for a month. You can sign up for it for a month. If it doesn't give you the option for some reason, anybody that has it can gift you a free version for a month, and you can go out there and do it. So try it. If you find value in it, then invest in it. And you can do the $20 or however much it is per month now. But if you're not job searching, if you're not doing your own business, if you're not actively on it, you don't need it. You really don't. But it is valuable during job searching because you can see who's looking at your profile. You can send more messages, and it really adds value to what you're doing. And then the final thing is LinkedIn Learning. If you want to upskill and get the certifications when you are having these breaks, but you can't afford the LinkedIn Learning, here's a final tip. Go to your local library. Get a library card, because you probably don't have one right now. Let's just admit it. If you do, well done. But go get a library card. It's free, I think, still. And with that library card, guess what? You can go online to that library, search for LinkedIn Learning, put in your library number, and you have free access to LinkedIn Learning. And now you can start upskilling. All right. I shared a lot of information there, you all, but I want to make sure that I give you a preview of Felipe's 5 that's going to be coming out later with that information. I also am going to share some networking tips that we talked about here in a document. But Melissa, Chris, thoughts, outbursts?
Right. I'm going to let Chris go, definitely, and then I'll wrap after. Or, respond after.
Yeah, Felipe, first of all, that's the first time I've gotten to see your 5. So I definitely want to connect with you offline and do a deep dive on some of that stuff for myself. You had some great points, stuff I definitely need to improve on. So want to hit you up on that offline. But in terms of final points, just for the audience, if there are people out there looking to network, I just put it in the private chat. I'm going to invite anybody to come to my show every Friday at 6 as well. It's going to be more of a informal whatever discussion, just like a fun television show type of thing, but a great place to network and meet people. And if anybody wants to come who is also running shows and steal my audience to bring to your shows to help people get platform, to help people come up on stage, feel comfortable and express themselves, feel free to come to my show to gain your voice. And then, come join these other shows. So I'm here just to help as a resource. So that's going to be my purpose here on LinkedIn, is just to try to help as many people as I can with my platform. So that's my offer. Anybody who wants it can accept it. Anybody who doesn't, feel free to keep walking. But I hope to see you all over at the show at 6. And thank you, Felipe, and thank you for Melissa for having me on stage. And if anybody needs any help with anything AI, just a couple of quick tips, feel free to hit me with a DM. I'm pretty good with that stuff. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. Listen, guys, I have to tell you, Felipe, can I ask you to put your image back up? Because one of the ones I want to actually quote you on, I don't remember verbatim, and I want to. But the oh, applying, quick apply versus online, and I loved first bucket, second bucket. That was so prevalent in my brain. I could instantly like just visualize that. But the other thing, guys, LinkedIn recruiters put the job up and then they take them down. They come and go. And when I'm a hiring manager, as a hiring manager, I don't go to LinkedIn as soon as an application is open again. As soon as I have a role available, I don't go to LinkedIn to post it. I go to see who applied last time first. And so not only are you going to be in their first resource, you're grandfathered in. And so if you make sure that you're just there and engaging and connecting with people in that business, by the time, if you apply and then work that networking, and when the recruiter comes in and says, hey, look, I want to hire Melissa Houston, let me go figure out who she is. Oh, wow, she's engaged, she's following our team. She already knows 8 of the people who need to make this decision. Wow, yeah, let's call her. You've already created an overlap there, a connection that they can see, that they will dive into a little bit quicker, because just like those referrals are valuable, if you are referred in by somebody who's already working for me, I see value there because they've already given you the lowdown. They've already told you what to expect and what to say and what we look for. They've told you about the qualities of the company they admire, maybe even the worst parts, right? But there's value in that connection, more so than a stranger. And so if you can do the same with LinkedIn and just strategize to get there and build on it while you're waiting for the callback and do your follow-ups, I think you'll do well. Thank you, Felipe.
Well, thank you, Melissa. All right, so Chris, I'm going to carefully move you into the green room. Don't trip, please. Be careful. We do have snacks and drinks in there for you. Don't worry. So let's go back real quick, because like I said, we're going to put all these in some information. You have the replay to check out, obviously. We'll do Felipe's 5. But let's go back to a question that we asked everybody, because we got some feedback, Houston, about the video. And I appreciate thank you for the feedback. This is what we wanted. So some of the feedback was, it was great. Love the 80s vibe. But there was, where does it go from Ari? And it was the still shots were too long. We need some videos in there. And I'm trying to find some of the other comments. So my point here, Houston, is we are being told by our wonderful audience that we need to have some videos. So, oh yeah, great, but please remove all the still images and replace with 30-second videos, particularly with the dogs. Picture montage is too slow, needs to pick up the beat, maybe add taglines from both of you in between the pics. So there's some feedback that I want to share. So thank you to Ari, and thank you to Greg, Professor Chris. I'm sorry. I appreciate your feedback there. And Ari, who I get to meet in person, is just as delightful, if not more so, in person. We did a post because we had a great little networking event. We went outside because there's one of those massive, huge chairs, the restaurant had for like just pictures, where you can fit like 5 people in the chair. And so we decided to take a picture, right? Well, her chain from her purse slid in between 2 of the wood slats and for some reason got stuck. You've never seen 5 LinkedIn people jump into action quicker and you thought that we were disarming a nuclear bomb. I mean,
oh my gosh, I have a visual that probably is accurate in my brain right now.
Richard Lopez immediately dives underneath the chair and is underneath there like he's working the bomb from underneath. I'm on top there with Ari trying to hold the chain so it doesn't twist and turn. Amber, Richard's wife, is there trying to let him know when to pull, when not to pull. And then we have Aisha, who was a friend of Ari's, who was like, okay, this isn't working. She comes back with 2 big knives, puts them right in there, starts pulling the boards apart a little bit, like, okay, pull now. And then finally it came free. So it was, and I wish somebody had videotaped it because we were laughing hysterically. But teamwork is amazing. So thank you, Audie, for meeting me in person, and thank you for your feedback. And again, the 80s vibe, I guess people do like that. So maybe we'll keep that part of it. So Houston, are you willing to send me video clips of yourself?
Yeah, honestly,
you.
listen, I'm kind of excited for this. I think if they want video, we can get some concepts together. We can work on some stuff. I really do like the idea of our quotes kind of gap filling. I think, bringing some of the covers back that we've gone through would be fun too, just because we go through seasons and you're really great at your, covers being a little bit different, and you worry about like the theme of the year color and all these things that not everybody thinks about, guys. You have no idea how focused he is on this stuff. And so I think there's a ton of value there, but I really know that we're growing, right? We're putting things out. I was just talking with, it was so funny. I picked up the kiddo, my teenager's friend. She's like another kid. If you have kids, you know how it becomes. You just have extra children all of a sudden. And so I was picking her up after work last night, and we were talking, and she was giving me reading recommendations. That was the topic she chose. And I was like, I would love to recommend a book. And I was able to hand her the books, Felipe, and say, here, let me know what you think. Keep them, and that was kind of cool. But I think I'm saying all of this to say there's just so much opportunity to connect out here. There's so much opportunity to be together. And I got lost in that moment. But your creativity, the ripple we have, that conversation led to, she asked about my Spotify. Like, we were talking about the podcast that I started in 2022 was the last time I posted there. And I kept saying in the last few episodes, I'll be back. I'll be more consistent. And then loss kept happening, guys. I'm not going to lie. My mom passed, and then life just kept happening, and things were shifting so quickly. And so it fell away. But then I had an epiphany. Why am I not getting a copy of these and putting them on my channel? I'm going to do the same with my coffee chats now that they're being recorded, right? I have them all backed up on StreamYard. I'm going to go upload them. And so I expect them growing on Spotify. I'm taking us to Spotify with your permission. And so if you create visuals, if we get something together, maybe it'll just rotate like that billboard marketing we've talked about that I wanted to use for these audio events. Because, guys, it's too early for me on a 6 a.m. Saturday show to be on camera. Not going to lie to you. I'm just not ready. But I also think we get distracted by what's on camera, by backgrounds, by settings, and that doesn't take away from the lives that people do that way. But with the stuff we're working on, I think this is sufficient. And I love that we just get to kind of be here. You get a face and a name, but having some video to break it up, having those breaks so we can run and get a beverage, right? Or answer some of the DMs that have been sitting there. These are strategic moments for us too. And so I expect we need to do them so we can be more reactive on all of these platforms. Because I'll be honest, I don't watch YouTube today. Did you have YouTube open to watch for commentary, or are we watching it just on the screen and we assume it will feed, even though it's not always perfect, right? So there's some things we need to work on to make sure we're not missing anybody. But Felipe, you're doing awesome. And I think we're only
thank you. And I
up from
appreciate
here.
that you notice the small little things that I do to our imagery to stand out.
Listen, he doesn't think I appreciate him. He just never lets me tell him. Just kidding.
It's nice to hear it from my sister sometimes, so I appreciate that. It's like the family. Sometimes we assume that we know, but it's nice to hear it sometimes. Real quick, a little shout out to Bernard here. If anyone knows about any truck driver jobs in, oops, that's not the right one. Why is it not working? What?
It's coming. I'll read it. Please, how is it possible to acquire a truck driver job in UK, US, Canada, or Germany from Nigeria on this app? I'll be honest, not sure. But if I was going to say it to anybody, if I was looking for a specific job, I would put CDL. That's a very common search term for types of drivers. If there's a different version of that in the UK, I'm not certain because I've never done screening there. But as a background screener, a CDL certification told me you would drive a truck. And so I would look for CDL roles. You can filter by location on the app. And so I would look for those countries you're looking for. I'll be honest with you, I don't see a lot of opportunity, and this is my perspective only, in the current climate. I don't see a lot of people excited to do inbound visa support for jobs in roles like truck drivers. I think to be quite honest. There's going to be a lot of people looking to maybe move into that. A lot of people do drive and can go get certified to drive something heavier if they needed to. And there's a lot of operational, like solopreneurship in those opportunities. And so you may want to look at that opportunity as well. See if you can find a way to become qualified to drive a truck and then be an independent contractor within an organization, even if it's just temporarily to get some experience. They usually have different requirements for a contractor versus an internal staff member. And so try that, but I would definitely filter the settings to find the areas you want for the job you want. And that's for everybody listening.
All right. I love that. Well, listen, like I said, we are going to put some of this in writing in the posts that are coming out in the next day or two. We'll also add some of the stuff in the comments. Thurman Trotman's going to send me some resources for people, whether they're job seekers or federal workers, and we'll share that as well. But do me a favor. If you know of any opportunities out there, if you know about people out there that are helping job seekers or federal workers or resources available to them, please put them in the comments. Let's share them so that others can see. And thank you to everyone who showed up. You all have truly make this room so valuable. And this is why Melissa and I keep on doing it, is because people like you show up and you keep on providing us great insights. You also help share the word and hopefully pass it on to people that can benefit from it. Because if one person benefited from the information today, then it was worth it. It was worth our time. It was worth our effort, because that is all we can do. If everyone can help out just a little bit, imagine what we could do together. It sounds a little cheesy, I know, but it's true. You know, so, but with that being said, Miss Houston, would you like to share anything you have coming up as we prepare to wrap up the room?
Well, like I said, guys, I'm going to be working on expanding the channels, getting those old episodes out there, right? Like Felipe said early on, not putting our eggs in one basket, not being reliant on one platform. Because if LinkedIn decides tomorrow that they just don't want to LinkedIn anymore, what would you do? How would you find your people? Do you have your content backed up anywhere? We've talked about the fact that you can go to your profile and you can make it great, and you can get it, you know, down to a science, really, like the SEO search capabilities in your about section, and make it perfect. But if it disappeared tomorrow, all of that work is gone unless you have a way to maintain it. And so go to your settings, back up your data, get an email that will allow you to download it all. I would also say find ways to connect outside of this platform. Felipe gave a grand example of being in a chair with a bunch of grown-ups at a restaurant doing a photo, and then all of a sudden they were in Operation Rescue, right? And that's so cool. That's a memory that moves way beyond the platform. And it doesn't take a lot to do it, guys. It was an intention of gathering in the same place at the same time. They wanted to get a photo to mark the occasion, and then life, the chaos happened. And so I think that you just need to be intentional about meeting people. That's where coffee chats really stemmed from in my mind. On my website document, and actually even see I have a coffee chats planner available. And that came from the notes I would consistently take over and over. As a marketer, as a salesperson, I believe documentation is important to come back. And as a coach, it was vital, right? And so I would take 3 things I learned about you, 3 things that I told you about myself, 3 connections I wanted to meet of yours, and 3 connections you may have wanted to meet of mine. We would have some follow-up plans, and then even like a little subsection for additional notes, and there's some other stuff there. But that's how I made it happen. I went from 1,200 connections to 12,000, doing 3 to 5 15-minute meetings a day, 5 days a week. You can pick your day. A Saturday was a very fruitful one for both Felipe and I, and we wrote about it in the book. I wrote about it in the People First platform. That's one of the books. You can find my page on Amazon if you want to buy them, but I'm also selling signed copies, guys. I don't know if you know that. So if you want a signed copy, they're $25. You can DM me and I will get it out to you, personalized for you. But I think, Felipe, are you doing the same? Have you done it? Are you planning to?
No.
I'm going to do it all. We're going to do some
Yeah.
of the authors on my side of the world soon.
All the fan mail I've gotten, no one's asked for an autographed copy yet. So I haven't gotten.
Did you say
yet.
fan mail?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm standing next to a famous person.
Oh, please. I'm joking with the fan mail. Houston, come on now. No one's asked me for an autographed copy. Okay. I did give signed copies with a special note to my children and my nieces and my mother and my wife. So I did do that, but they didn't ask for it. I just gave it to them.
Okay.
But listen, I love what you shared. I think it's important for everyone to remember those things because it is a chance for you to have kind of your life documented somehow. And whether it's on your website, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on LinkedIn, having it in multiple places is a great thing. Downloading your data is a great, smart thing. As I mentioned earlier, if you're looking for any services to help, I'm here to help. Reach out to me, Convenient Consulting, HR services, career coaching, recruiting, LinkedIn help. As always, would appreciate anyone that would subscribe to my YouTube channel. And as a treat, I have not taken down the embarrassing videos I have of myself on there. So in addition to having valuable career, HR, LinkedIn advice, you find humor in seeing Felipe make a fool of himself. So feel free to check that out.
I'm interrupting because he's got long hair over there. You need to go run to Felipe's channel, because if you've ever want to see him with the Fabio style hairdo, it's available. It's there. He won't let me show you the version I created of that image, but
I'll give you teasers. You'll see the long hair. You'll see me doing a cooking show, stirring stuff with basically a huge butcher knife because I couldn't find a spoon. And then there is a mild explosion of something that happened that I left in there as well as a blooper. So
listen,
feel free.
Felipe, can I just tell you, you got called out in the comment section hard by Tom. He heard what I heard, and I didn't even say anything. I was like, I'm not going to say anything. But Tom did.
Wow. It's okay. I did take a last bite of my sandwich. You're right.
Ken had a little commentation. Look at Ken.
I thought I had myself on mute. That's why. But
you did not. No, and honestly, Felipe, it's so funny because I don't know you're eating, right? But you're eating in between, and you never know when I'm just gonna be like, all right, back to you. And then the one time you don't want me to send it back to you, you're like, thanks, Houston. And it's like, oh, we all know.
Well, I was eating a breakfast sandwich and I had the last bite and I just put it in my mouth. But anyways, so feel free to follow me on YouTube. I appreciate anyone who does. And as always, come back in 2 weeks. And also remember, please share any topics you want us to cover. That is our goal, is to make sure that we are providing relevant information to you all. And if you all share with us, every time someone shared a topic with us, we have covered it. We haven't had to say no yet because no one's shared a topic that was inappropriate or something that we literally just covered. But we always welcome that. And I do want to end on one last serious note. Enjoy every day and every moment, and I mean that seriously. I had a dear cousin of mine pass away on Wednesday from a heart attack. She had no heart conditions. She left 3 children and a husband. I was very close to her, and she was alone when she passed away. She was down in Florida on vacation. I'm sharing this because tomorrow's not guaranteed, you all. Make the most out of today, whether it's hugging your family and friends, let them know you love and appreciate them, or getting off your butt and taking action and doing something before it's too late. Whether it's work-related, physically, mentally, medically related, don't wait. So thank you for letting me share that. God bless all of you all. Take care of yourselves. And Houston, thank you for being you and for being my friend. I appreciate you so much and having you in my life. And I can't wait to see what this new video looks like, because I think it's going to be hysterically funny and also a lot of fun. And it might be, I don't know. I think that there's a chance that it might might challenge somebody.
I feel like, okay, couple of things. Number one, I'm sorry for your loss, and anybody listening, I'm sure they're just catching up right now. And so I wanted to give a second for those to pour in. Number two, I appreciate your transparency, because honestly, guys, it's not easy for everybody, ever. Anybody, ever. Anybody who makes it look easy, like life is always just puppy dogs and walks and, delivering crab via Uber Eats, like he can. I think there's there's a misconception that life has not touched us in some way every day. And it does. But it's the stuff that we've harnessed to get here, whether it's our mindsets, our skill sets, the ability to just take a deep breath and like figure out how to just put it away for a moment while I focus on the human in front of me because they're also in a moment. And that's great. But the other part of it is having community and people who will go, hey, wait a minute, hold on. And honestly, we do that for each other. As much as we pick on each other, we do that. And so I hope you guys have that too. I didn't know Felipe before LinkedIn. I didn't know him for long before we felt like siblings. And his mom has repeatedly hit him on New Year's for me now. And I think there's value in that kind of connection. But reality is, these moments of life, they're hard. They're not easy, but they're easier when you have moments like this that kind of alleviate to do the roller coaster, right? We can do ups and downs at the same time. There is light and shadow in every moment, and you just have to be mindful to pay attention to one or the other as needed, right? And so thank you for sharing, Felipe. I can't wait to get into some more stuff. I hope they send us some ideas.
I hope so too, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. And thank you all for the messages and the support. And I'm looking forward to 2 weeks from now for sure. So send us your messages. Let us know what you like to cover. And as always, Houston, I'll be chatting with you about some videos because I want to get this done sooner than later. I'm excited about this.
I'm curious. Like, I want to see how creative we can be, but I'm scared. I'm a little scared with your.
It'll be good. It'll be good. All right, everyone. Remember, support people out there who are looking for jobs. Let us know what we can do to help, and keep an eye out for more information to come as a recap from this room. And thank you again for always supporting Careers, Chaos, and Coaching. And with that, we are going to close out with the video one more time. So, Houston, thank you again, and adios, everyone.
Take care.